Hey there, I'm Ari Altman with the Tech Buyers Guru, and I'm back with another product review, this time of the Corsair Glaive RGB Pro gaming mouse. It is being released today, April 25th, 2019. This is a follow-up to the original Glaive RGB, which was released in May 2017. So it's been about 2 years. The Glaive has proved very popular for Corsair. It was the first ground-up redesign of a gaming mouse since really the original M65, which had been around really quite a long time. I'd say perhaps too long a time. I think you can still buy it. People still buy it. It was outdated in 2017. It's certainly outdated now, but the Glaive was really a ground-up redesign, like I said, and it did a lot of things right, and that's why it has caught on and now earned an upgrade in 2019. This mouse is going to be coming in at the same price. If I go to the Corsair website, I'll find that the Glaive RGB is $70. Well, the RGB Pro is also $70. What you're looking at is a feature bump for the same price, $70. Now, I will be comparing this to my favorite mouse, which is the Logitech G703. As you can see, this is a wireless mouse. Yes, indeed, it does work wirelessly. And this has been my go-to mouse for years. And so, you know, Corsair coming out with a new wired mouse in 2019 is really good. The $70 price point is decent. I think it's comparable to its competitors over at Razer and Rocket, and even some of Logitech's wired mice. But ultimately, I think what you have to keep in mind is that Logitech does have a great wireless gaming mouse for just about $10 or $15 more. So I'll come back to that in my conclusion, but let's focus on the Glaive for now. So what you get with the Glaive Pro is three major upgrades. First, it's got a new sensor. Okay, it's 18,000 DPI up from 16,000 DPI. Whether that matters to you, you'll have to decide. I think since most gamers probably game in the 1500 to 3000 DPI range, I'm not sure what value that has. But if there are other improvements that come along with the sensor, like greater or lower response times, or greater ability to function under heavy Gs, as they kind of refer to it in marketing, well, that's important too. So that's the biggest technical achievement. Another big achievement is actually a lower weight. It's about 7 grams less than the original Glaive RGB. And then there are a couple of small changes to the buttons. First, Corsair has gone with a dual DPI button selector switch. So now you can go up or down, which makes a ton of sense. The original Glaive had just one button that you could cycle through the 5 settings. Well, it makes sense to have two, and frankly, that's pretty standard in today's gaming mouse market, so I'm surprised that they didn't include it on the original, but anyway, now it's there, that's good. And you also have kind of a redesigned side buttons to make them a little bit more accessible. Also, of course, you get the interchangeable grips. Now, this is something that really set the Glaive apart when it came out in 2017. And I will kind of go through up-close views of these grips and give you my opinions on them. I think it's great. As Corsair says in its marketing documents, you know, one size does not fit all. And I'm totally on board with that. I think that that's great. And the fact that, you know, again, for $70, you're getting essentially 3 grip sizes, which, you know, the competitors aren't offering. Well, that's value added right there from Corsair, and of course you get the great specs. And so I'm going to get up close with this so you can see a little bit more about what makes this mouse tick. So I'll be back in a second. Alright, so I'm actually in a game right now of Battlefield 5, and I'm working with this Glaive RGB Pro. You know, the first thing I'll say is, so there's 3 grips, and I'd say the base smallest grip is really, well, actually it's the most like other mice, which means Corsair is not out of its mind to include it, but I think it's actually a lot better to start with one of the wider grips. So I'm going to actually, as my teammates are getting gunned down here in Battlefield 5, I'm going to hide. I'm going to pull off the smallest grip, the default grip, Oh, and oh, I got shot while I was changing my grip. That's not fair, right? And I'm going to go to the slightly wider grip. So that just gives your thumb a little bit more to hold on to. It actually makes it easier to lift the mouse if that's something you ever need to do to reposition. So let me get back into my game here. Yeah, so immediately I feel a lot more control with the bigger grip. I like it. But let me hide myself here. And oh, I should say, of course, that, you know, I'm running this, I think, at 1500 DPI right now. Let's see. No, actually, I was like at 1000. Now I've just switched it up to 3000. That's way too fast. As you can see, my screen, you can see the screen's flying around. I can't even control it. So yeah, I think I'm at like 800, no, 1200 maybe. You know what would be really cool would be a display here to remind me, like an OLED readout. I think there's some mice on the market that might have that. But anyway, I'm going to try to hide here and get myself the biggest of the grips. Here we go. I'm going to now remove this grip and put on the biggest, which is almost like a wing, a real thumb rest there, right? So as you can see, your whole thumb can now sit on that, which seems like a really good thing, actually, right? Because now your thumb will not drag on your mouse pad. But the problem is that the grip area, the part where your thumb actually can hold on to, is actually smaller, right? So that's more like the default grip, and yet then it has the platform for your thumb to rest on. But what I really liked about the mid-size grip, was it makes the mouse wider. A wider mouse with my relatively large hand is a little bit harder, easier to hold on to. All right, so I'm going to give you a tour of the iCUE software here. As you can see, I've got a number of Corsair devices. I've got the K70 RGB Mark II low profile, which by the way is totally awesome. I've got it set up on a rainbow wave right now. In fact, I've got it on Lighting Link, which means my Glaive RGB Pro is also doing a bit of a rainbow wave. It's not quite as impressive on a mouse as it is on a keyboard. You can see a slight wave here where I guess it's kind of starting at, you see, I think the color's going from back to front. I can't quite tell. There are 3 zones. There's the Corsair logo. There are these stripes on the side, and then there's the wheel as well as the front of the mouse, which you can see there. That's actually, I think, the same light, so those are not individually lit up at different colors. But so we have a rainbow wave here. It's all right. It's not a super great effect. I really wish that that Corsair had implemented more of a light pipe design so that you could get almost like an addressable RGB effect down the side of the mouse. But as it is, I think this is just one RGB. All they would have had to do was put like one RGB here and one at the bottom, and you could get kind of a blended effect, but unfortunately that's not there. I've seen that on the Rocket Cone EMP, which I thought looked awesome, so it's not a new design. Maybe it's patented, I don't know. But anyway, you get the lighting effects, they're pretty cool. You can, like I said, you can link it to your other Corsair peripherals, or you can shut that off and just do your own thing with the mouse, like maybe a static color, like say we want red. So we can do something like that. You can individually, yeah, there's 3 zones, the front zone, the light edge, and the logo zone. Here we go, there's the red. You have to kind of remember to turn profiles on and off on the side. So that's red. The one thing that doesn't change is the DPI selectors. I think this is just Corsair dropping the ball, because what's interesting is in the DPI menu, it allows you to select a color for the DPI indicator. So here now I've just selected kind of a red here, right? So I can make it match, but I don't know why they didn't just do it automatically. Why do I need to go in there? And by the way, if you do a rainbow color, you won't get a rainbow cycle on these DPI selectors. Another thing that I kind of have a gripe about is that there's a sniper setting, but there's no sniper button. And while you in theory can set a sniper button here in the actions section of the iCUE software, it's just impossibly hard to use. I think this is just an artifact of iCUE really being developed for the keyboard line, and the mouse line being kind of an, you know, a stepchild of the Corsair lineup. Look, Corsair does not sell as many of these as it sells its keyboards. And I find this whole setup is just really, really hard to use. If I just wanted to set, say, the DPI down button to sniper, I think I've done it, but it's not showing. And I don't know how to make it work. So that's frustrating. Let's see. Actually, I should be able to tell. Oh yeah, I did do it. Okay, so now I'm clicking that down button and it's switching into sniper mode. But again, like I said, this is just not that intuitive. Like, it doesn't actually say sniper up here. It says remap mouse button 1, A to B. It all could be a lot clearer, but okay, you can remap buttons if you get into the menus. I've just remapped this to sniper. Okay, cool. Let's go back to lighting effects. Like I said, static colors. You can do a predefined something like a rainbow. It's a little bit tricky because you always have to remember to turn off the previous effect. So is this doing a rainbow? Yes, it is. I can do a color shift where you select two different colors. So say you like yellow and that's kind of a light yellow, light blue and dark blue, for instance. I don't know. I just randomly picked that. And will it work? No, see, again, I have to select it. There we go. So it's kind of shifting through different blues. So that's cool. You can set up kind of a gradient. DPI, of course, it does go up to, let's see, 18,000 if you really wanted it that high. I don't. 3,000, I think, was my highest here. You can just plug those numbers in like that as well. And then I actually don't know what these hardware DPI modes are. Are these presets? I don't know. I'm not sure what that is. Those may be the hard-coded ones that Corsair provides in case you want to revert back to them. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. I've actually already changed the default, so who knows. And then we have performance. Now you've got kind of a couple features that most people probably won't want to mess with, like angle snapping and enhanced pointer precision. You also have the pointer speed, which is a cool feature, maybe. Although why I want to change that and not DPI, I don't know. It's kind of like an older. That's like a. I don't know. That's that's kind of an older method of changing your pointer speed. I don't think you want to mess with that. And then there's surface calibration. This works pretty well. Look at this. I grab the icon and I go like this. So I'm calibrating this to my Corsair mousing mat, and it's done. So here's the deal. The Glaive is probably the best wired mouse you're going to find for $70. I think it's better than the Razer Basilisk at $70. It's better than the Roccat Comb EMP, which is about $75. It's probably better than Logitech's G502 Hero, which has an upgraded sensor and comes in around $60 or $70. But is it the best gaming mouse on the market? I'd have to say no, because at this point I believe Logitech's wireless lineup of high-end gaming mice have really stolen the show. And they aren't new products either. The G403 came out in 2016, then there was the G703, which I use on a daily basis. And there's the G903, there's the Performance, there's the Pro line at $150. Point being, if you're looking for a wired mouse because you're not quite ready to go to wireless yet, the Glaive RGB Pro is going to be your best bet. It's got the customizable grips, which are a really great feature. It's got the best sensor you'll find. It's got pretty cool RGB lighting. Nothing really out of the ordinary, but it's pretty neat, and it of course integrates with the K70 keyboard I have right here, which I love, the best gaming keyboard on the market, frankly the best keyboard on the market, period. So you've got that Corsair setup. So if you want to go with that, the Glaive Pro RGB is a great pick. It's a fair price. It's just that at this point I believe that wireless is the way to go. With that said, because it's competing in the wired market and because it does a really great job, I still give this mouse 4 out of 5 stars. I think Corsair is on the right track with the Glaive RGB Pro. I just think that if you want to feel the future of gaming, you're going to want a wireless mouse in your hand. And I'm gonna leave it at that. All right, until next time, I'm Ari from the Tech Buyers Guru. If you like this review, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.